everyone, it's Mrs. Griffin with the Unit 3 Lesson 1 video. We're going to be talking about copying segments and constructing triangles. The word construction means that you're going to create a figure using a compass and a straight edge. So for these lessons, you need to make sure you have a compass and a straight edge. The straight edge is your ruler. It's used to draw straight lines only, not for measuring. The compass is used for measuring. So when we do these, we are going to be copying a segment from one location into a new spot. We're going to be creating a congruent segment. So you do that by beginning with a place to put it. So since we're going to construct a line segment whose lengths are x plus y, we're going to find a new segment. We're going to draw one in here that's longer than the ones that we think we're going to need. So you're going to use your ruler to draw a new segment that's longer than what you think x plus y actually is. And then you're going to take your compass and you're going to use it for measuring. So we're going to use our compass to measure the length of segment x by putting the ends, the point and pencil of the compass on either end of this segment and swinging a little arc to show we measured it. And then we're going to take that measurement without moving our compass. We're going to put that measurement down here, starting on the end of the segment we just drew, and swinging a new arc. And that arc gives us another end point for this little segment here, which is x, just like the one we copied. Now we're going to figure out the length of y doing the same sort of thing. So we're going to take our compass and we're going to put the endpoints on y, and we're going to measure as precisely as possible how long segment y is. And we're going to swing the arc to show we did it. And then we're going to put that measurement from the end of x and swing a new arc. And so what happens is we have x and we have y, and then together they make this segment here, which has a length of x plus y. Now we're going to do the same thing for part B with z and x. So we're going to start by giving ourselves a segment to put them on, longer than we think we need. And we're going to measure. So we're going to start by measuring segment z. So you're going to put your compass ends on either end of z and measure as precisely as possible how long z is. And then you're going to take your compass and you're going to move it down to the end of your new segment. And you're going to swing an arc, and that'll give you length z. And then we're going to take our compass and we're going to measure x. That comes next. So we're going to go back up to our originals and we're going to measure how long x is as precisely as possible, as always. And we're going to add that on to the end of z. And so what's left is segment z plus x. And if you need to see them highlighted, it might help you understand what I'm talking about. This was x. And then we added on y for a total of x plus y. And that's our new segment length. Now, for the next two, we need to be subtracting. So we're going to start, like always, by giving ourselves a segment to start from, and by measuring the first of the given information. So this one's y minus x. We're going to start with the y. So we're going to measure segment y on our originals using our compass. So back to y. Measure exactly how long it is. And then bring that measurement down to your answer. And there's segment y. Now, to subtract a measurement, we're going to be subtracting x. So we do need to measure how long x is. So we're going to go up to our givens and measure x. And then, instead of adding it on past where y ends, we're going to take it and we're going to move it away from the end of y. We're going to go from the end back inward. And so what happens when we do that is that the entire length here to here was y. This was x. And what we're left with in this spot right here is the y minus x. The leftover when you take y and then remove x. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing for D. We're going to draw a segment, not in highlighter, And we're going to measure first z and then x and subtract them. So we're going back up to our originals, and we're going to measure how long z is. And we're going to bring that down to our answer line. And then we're going to measure x. And we're going to bring that to the end of z, and instead of going and adding it on, we're going to go back inward and take it away from the end of z. And so your answer will be in here, z minus x, this length. Okay, for E, similar things. We're going to construct a segment whose length is 2x. So like all the others, we're going to give ourselves a place to put this. And then we are going to measure where, we're going to measure the length of x. So we're going to go back up to our given, and we're going to measure how long x is. And then we're going to bring it down here. And we're basically just doing 2 x's. So one here, and then another after it. For F, same concept, only using y. So 2 y's, we're going to measure how long y is. And we're going to bring that down here and put it on twice. 1, 2, and there's your length of 2y right here. All right, moving forward to G and H. On these two, I'm going to be creating a triangle. So we are still going to be copying segments, but we're going to be copying them to create triangles. So we're going to begin, just like all of them, by giving ourselves a place to put the new segment lengths, the triangles. And in G, we're doing a scalene one. That means all are different. And the lengths are going to be X, Y, and Z. So we're going to begin by copying one of them. It doesn't matter which one you start with. I like to start with the longest segment. So I'm going to start at Z, and I'm going to measure how long Z is, just like before. And I'm going to copy that measurement onto my new line up here. And so that will give me one length for the sides of my triangle. So this length here is Z from one end to the other, and that's one side of my triangle. Now, for the remaining sides, one of them's got to be X and the other's got to be Y. So I'm going to go back to my originals, and I'm going to measure each one of those. So I'm going to start by measuring X. And I'm going to copy that up here. And I don't have a line to put it on this time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the end of Z, and I know it's going to come off of there. I'm just not sure at what angle. So I'm going to just swing a very large arc with the radius of X, because that's going to tell me that somewhere along that arc is going to be the end of my segment. Then I'm going to go do the same thing with Y from the other end. So I'm going to measure Y, figure out how long Y is. And I'm going to go to the other end of Z, and I'm going to swing the arc that way. And those two arcs are going to intersect, and where they do, that point of intersection is the vertex of my triangle. So if I can connect from each end of segment Z to that point, I will have my triangle, and its sides will be X, Y, and Z. We're going to do a very similar thing for B, only B is going to be an isosceles triangle. So instead of having 3 different sides, some of them will be the same. So I'm going to start by drawing a segment to put this on. And it says that my base is going to be length Y. So I will copy length Y first to put it near the bottom, just because that's given to us first. You don't have to put the base on the bottom. And we're going to move that up here. And there will be length Y. And it says the lengths will be length Z. So for the legs, I have to measure how long Z is. So I'm going to go back to my givens, and I'm going to measure how long Z is. And I'm going to put that on each end of the segment above, like I did before. And we're going to swing an arc. Now, your intersection on G was above the segment. It doesn't have to be. You can go below it if you have room. but you're going to have one length Z this way, and then you're going to move to the other end, and you're going to have Z this way, and you're going to create an intersection. So whether that intersection is above or below does not matter as long as you have created it. And then you will have your isosceles triangle where this was length Y, and each one of these was length Z, and therefore they're congruent, and it's an isosceles triangle. If we go on to I and J, we're going to do the same sorts of things. So we're going to create a segment to start from, and on I it says that we are going to have an isosceles triangle whose base is Y, so I'm going to copy Y first, and I'm going to swing that down here to my segment, and I have length of Y. And then the lengths of the legs will be X, so we're going to measure X, doing the exact same thing, and make sure that when you are measuring X, you do it as precisely as possible. And we're going to put each measurement on the ends of the segment I started with. So here will be one X, and then the other, because it is isosceles, is also X, will also go here, and they will intersect at this point where I will connect to make my isosceles triangle. And it has a base of Y and legs that are X long and are congruent. Okay, for the next one, same idea, another isosceles. We're going to start with this, and we're measuring Z and copying it onto our segment down below. And then it says that the legs are going to be length X. So this is Z. Now we need to measure X, and we're going to put that on each end of Z. Now note what happens this time. When I try to do this triangle, there's one X, and when I try to do the other one, they actually don't cross like they should. I don't get an intersection. So this can't be a triangle, because two sides always have to add up to be greater than the third in order to connect, and in this one, X and X do not add up to more than Z. All right, going on to K, we're going to construct an equilateral triangle with sides length X. So I've got my segment to put them on, and I'm going to measure X, and this time equilateral means all three will be the same. So I don't have to change it once I've measured X. I'm going to go to one end of my segment, and I'm going to measure the base. And then I'm going to swing that arc so that it crosses, and then I'm just going to keep going upward, because that whole side is going to be that length as well. Then I'm going to flip my compass around and go to that intersection, and I'm going to create another arc. And where they cross will be the vertex of my next triangle side. So that would be here and here, and that would be creating my equilateral triangle where all three sides are the same length of X. Okay, to do another equilateral triangle, for L, I'm going to create a place to put it and measure Z. And then once I have that measurement, same as before, since it's equilateral, once I go from one end and create that arc, I'm just going to keep going upward. And then I'm going to flip around to that intersection point and do another arc of the same length. And that intersection point will be the vertex of the triangle. That will now be equilateral with lengths of Z for each side. And then finally on number 2 of this page, Margie has 3 cats, Simon, Jojo, and Mac. We have Jojo here and Simon here. And it says cats like to position themselves at equal distances from one another. That means that we're going to have an equilateral triangle. So we're going to figure out how far apart 2 of her cats are by using our compass. So you're going to measure with your compass how far apart Simon and Jojo are. Then we're going to figure out where in this room the third cat will be. So I'm going to swing that arc, and then I'm going to flip it around and do the same thing, just like with my equilateral triangle. And I will find the intersection here, which is where the third cat, M, Mac, will be. All right, I will see you in class.